Today's video, we're gonna talk about how to get more foot traffic by paid ads on the cheap, running Google and Facebook ads, or to get cheap customers through running Google and Facebook ads for your brick and mortar local store of some sort. Whether you're doing a furniture store, whether you're a mechanic shop, you're an ice cream shop, I don't care what you have. You can use this formula to get a load of people to come into your store and do it profitably. So we're not just throwing money up in the air and saying, hey, this is our ad budget, this is what we can afford to spend. No, it's let's take this $100 a day, make it produce at least $1,000 a day in revenue, and then let's go ahead and reinvest that back into more ads, $200 a day in ad spend. Let's get it up to $2,000 a day and scale it up, because that is the whole point of running online advertising for your business. It's all trackable. Even if you have a local brick and mortar store, it is still trackable. I'm going to talk about that. And it's trying to get a small amount of ad spend profitable, build the mousetrap that's going to get it, and then scaling it up where the millions are made. I'm going to talk about how we've done this for countless different stores now, offline stores, where we use the same exact methodology so you can do this for yourself. Okay, I'll tell you step by step how this is done, how to do everything from the ad setup to and the campaign setup to the tracking, offer creation, all of it. So of that, if you listen to this video as well, I'll also give you example markets where we use this as well. A home, elderly care supply company, funeral home, furniture store, mattress store, I could go on. Okay, so with that said, before I get into the content, if you do not know who I am Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, an online advertising agency that specializes in guaranteeing results for their clients. That is, we do not charge our clients management fees until we can get them a certain minimum lift in their profitability, basically in excess of the management fees that we charge. We are the only agency out there who offers any kind of similar guarantee, which should tell you something about the quality of the information on this video. So with that said, getting into the content here. So what I've got here is the two different ad platforms split up here. Google on the left-hand side, Facebook on the right-hand side. And we've got the different strategies here that you're going to use to be able to bring in and take a local brick and mortar store where you may be doing $500,000 a year in sales to $1 million to $2 million to $5 million, scaling it up one step at a time, like I was mentioning before, like we've done at our agency for clients, and you could do for yourself, managing your own ads. Okay, so starting with Google, this is typically what you're going to start out with by itself, Google ads. And there's two main ways that you run Google search ads in specific for a local brick and mortar that are going to work every time. The first of which is you're going to target product level searches. So if you are a furniture store, let's say, and you sell couches, you sell beds, you sell this and that, what you're going to do is you're going to target people looking for couches. Because you can buy couches online still. It's a little expensive to get them shipped to you, but you can, okay? What you want to do is show up when somebody types in buy couches or couches for sale online, whatever. It doesn't have to be exclusively that explicit, by the way. It could just be, leather couches. And you show up at the top of Google, okay, mentioning that you have couches for sale locally in the name of your city. So if they're typing in leather couches, then your ad's going to say leather couches in Dallas. Okay. So they weren't necessarily looking for leather couches locally, but you're going to announce that you are local and you have these in your store. Okay. They click on that ad. Then you take them to a specialized landing page, which spells out what you have in stock, inventory in your store. And then, of course, if you want to just buy it online, you should have that option available for them as well. I've got a separate video where which I should link down in the comments and description, on where I talk about how to make a landing page for a local brick and mortar store that crushes it every time. I am not going to go over in detail on this video, at least that. If you do want that information, and I did not already link it in the comments or in the description, let me know in the comment section and I will point you to that. I'll also, if you're curious, send you some exact examples of these other businesses that we've set up these landing pages for. We've scaled to millions of dollars where they weren't even doing millions initially, off the backs of having that landing page down right. Because frankly, it is the landing page setup that where the real magic occurs here, given that the ad, targeting an ad well is not that difficult. When they click on that ad and they weren't necessarily looking for something locally and they get to your website, if you just send them to a regular e-commerce store experience, or you send them to a page that, like your homepage or something like that, that says, we're a local furniture store, it's not going to work. It's not going to get you a predictable return on your investment that you can then use to parlay money back into more ad spend, more ad spend, and more ad spend. So just in short though, just so you understand what this kind of is, you have a landing page, just to keep this simple. And let's say this is your landing page up here. Up top, you have a picture of your store here, the outside of your store, so they know that you're local, so you weren't baiting and switching them. And then you have a little map up top that shows where you're located geographically in your city with a pin on the map showing where you're at. And then you're gonna have some circles here overlaid on the image of the outside of your store, showing like they were originally interested in leather couches. You're going to show 3 different leather couches you sell laid over on top of that image that's the outside of your store. So they can see not only that you're local, where you're located physically, and that you have leather couches inside that store. Okay? Then below it, you're going to say what your average review rating is on Google, Facebook, and other places that you've been reviewed. And then below that, you're going to go into the different leather couches that you sell here as well, hoping that they'll just go deep into your website looking at those couches, knowing that if they like what they see, they'll just come into your store. Some people will buy online, but a lot of times what people will do is they will look at your online inventory before they come in, so they know they're not wasting their time coming in. That's why you want to have that store set up exclusively, or should I say above all else, because that's what it does. That's how it helps you make sales the most. In addition to that, when you have your exit map up top, you're gonna have a button right below it that says browse online inventory. So they can see, okay, I could come into the store right now. I can also browse online and buy online. I can also browse online, then come on to the physical store. So it caters to every party individually. All right. But the key thing here is what people will do is they'll say, I don't need a landing page, or, I'll just set one landing page up for everything. No. You need to have a different landing page for every product category you sell. So if you're a motorcycle gear store, you're going to set a landing page up like I just described for motorcycle jackets and motorcycle gloves and all the main categories, or at least if you're going to target keywords or representative of an item that you sell in store, you need a unique landing page for it. Otherwise, it's not going to convert well enough for you, and you're not going to get the results that you want, which is a profitable ROI and money that you can use to scale your ad spend up and get to millions of dollars a year of revenue in your business. That right there is your top strategy. So why I wrote this arrow here saying most profitable here is that's the gold mine right here, what people don't do. If they do have a local store and they do try to run Google ads, they're going to want to do the bare minimum to set up their ads. They're going to target, like if they have a furniture store, people typing in furniture store and so on and so forth, which does still work, and I'm going to talk about that next. But they don't even target certain item level searches where the real money is. That's where the real money is. To the point where we've had stores like an elderly care supply store that we work with. We didn't even target elderly care supply store, and we were generating $2 to $3 million of revenue for this little elderly care supply store locally in a city in Southern Florida. And we didn't even target people looking for elderly care supply store. Now that in itself would have brought us another millions a year. And that was starting them from $300,000-400,000 a year. The guy, of course, hired us, and then the rest was history. With that said, that is where you want to focus first, because that's where the real ROI is. Because it taps into people that are really serious, for that matter. Not to say somebody typing in furniture store aren't serious, but those are a lot of tire kickers. There's a big difference between somebody looking for a leather couch online wanting to buy it and somebody just typing in furniture store. Well, and then we've proven that through our own testing. But in addition to that, you're going to do the niche level searches. So if you do have the elderly care supply store, you're going to target elderly care supply store, elderly care supplies, Denver, whatever, as far as a keyword, or furniture store, Denver, local furniture stores, stuff like that. And you're going to send them to a dedicated landing page, which you're going to have the same layout as you had before, as I just described, but the 3 circles that are overlaid on top of the image of the outside of your store there, you're gonna have different images. So I would do my top 3 or so. I usually do 3 circles. I'm gonna do 3 of my top selling categories. So if I have a motorcycle gear store, which we worked with in the past, I'm gonna have the coats, I'm gonna have the gloves and other protection gear, and then I'm gonna have my motorcycles, okay? So that, and then with that, your headline, by the way, above the map, I didn't mention the headline. That's just gonna say motorcycle gear store in, and then the name of your city, okay? But you wanna do that second. It's also profitable, not as profitable as people typing in product specific searches, okay? Beyond that, just some other things that you need to know here to get these kind of results for yourself. You're going to link your Google business profile or account to your Google Ads account. Why? Because you can run location extensions on your ads, which I won't talk about how to set that up here specifically, but what that allows you to do is now show up on the map when you don't already rank on the map already. So if you have that motorcycle gear store, and when somebody types in motorcycle gear store Miami, and you don't show up on Google search results in the 3 listings there where, on the search results on Google, where there's like, an ad up here, a couple organics, then there's the map, then there's the 3 map listings there. If you're not showing up there now, which is your number 1 goal is to get there, by the way, because that's where most people are going to look for a local store, you're going to have your Google business profile linked to your Google Ads. And because that happened and you added location extensions on your search campaigns, you're going to have a sponsored listing in that top spot there. Not every time, but a good chunk of the time. And that's going to get you there artificially when you can't rank there organically. You should absolutely be focusing on ranking yourself there organically, because nothing's as beneficial as that for your business, which for the most part, to do that, if you haven't had hundreds of reviews yet, you do what you need to do to get those. And I've talked about multiple strategies you can use to get that done. There's no excuse not to have that done, whether you're going to run a Facebook campaign mentioning that you'll give free gift cards away for getting a review of your store, and you target all your past customers, or you have a offshore person calling up all your past customers that you have, if you have their information, to ask them for a review. You do what you got to do. But with that said, that's one tip here. The other thing to mention here is you gotta have the tracking set up, okay? You're gonna track leads, that is phone calls and form fills of people who get to your landing page, who wanna ask questions before they come in, because often people will. Now, if you have the ice cream shop, they're not gonna call before they come in very often. But if they do, you're gonna use that as a conversion goal, and that conversion goal and related data is gonna be used to steer your campaigns so that you could tell Google optimize for people who call, because the people who call are likely to come in, and that's something that you want to optimize moving forward for. In addition to that, you're going to optimize for store visits, which if you have, again, your Google business profile linked to your Google Ads account, that store visit goal will automatically show up in your conversions menu. It'll tell you how many store visits you got. And if your campaigns are set up to optimize for store visits, you're going to make a lot of money, ultimately, because the system's very smart. You have to have a certain amount of foot traffic in your store already for that goal to show up. But so if it doesn't show up right away when you start advertising, it eventually will. Anyway, with that said, you literally can set up your campaign to say, hey, I only will pay $30 for a store visit to my store. And then the campaigns will generate that, as long as it's possible, of course. That makes it super easy to get more and more results all the time, because the more data you've collected in your account, the smarter the system's going to be at finding you store visits at a low cost per conversion. And there's a cost per conversion where it's cheap enough for you to advertise. And then once you do that, then it's just scaling time. All right. But you not just track that. By the way, Google knows if somebody comes to your store, because people have Google apps installed on their phone. If they searched for and found your ad initially on their phone and then they come in, Google's going to then know about it. And practically speaking, like at least a third, if not a half of the people that come to your page are going to have a Google app on their phone, and they're going to know that. Because it doesn't track all store visits, you should also do discount tracking. So ultimately what you do, assuming you're in a business where you can do it, if you will, which you could do it technically for all businesses if you wanted to. If you're the ice cream shop, it'll be less fitting. But if you sell mattresses, sell even motorcycle jackets, whatever, you can have, when somebody comes into your store or shop, before they check out, you can have the person at the register ask or say, hey, if you would like, first of all, where did you find us? And if they say Google, you can say, hey, well, we're going to give you 10% off of your order today if you go and you fill out a form on our website for our short time, discount that we're offering for this month only to new customers. You have what that is somebody goes to that site, which has like a form there to fill out. It's a simple form. Because they got to that page, that completes the conversion loop. So somebody clicks on the ad on that phone, they come in, they get to that page, Google is going to see they got to that page, you count that as an in-store visit conversion, and now you have extra data to optimize your campaigns with. We started doing this some time ago, and it helps your campaigns at least double the rate of progression of how fast your conversions are going to rack up in your account once you start tracking the in-store visits this way, if you will. If you are the ice cream shop, you mean technically when somebody checks out, you could do that. It would just slow the person down at the register a lot. And so it's up to you whether you would do that. But what I can tell you is 90% plus of the results you get with your ads is predicated on the past history of your campaigns and the data that you've racked up in the account. The better quality data you have, the more quick you're going to get your profits. Okay, so ignore at your own peril, essentially, with this. Then with that said, the landing page, by the way, we've found more recently that you'll get more store visits per dollar spent in ad spend, having your inventory on your website browsable, by the way, there, or a really good videography. So if you are the restaurant itself, you want a picture of the inside of the restaurant, because a lot of people come in for the ambiance or just because it looks cool, or they like looking at the food. So if I have a restaurant, I'm going to spend tons of money on high quality videography. So I could put that on my landing page. So anybody who thinks about coming in aren't going to have to wonder what this place is like and what the food looks like. Everybody should be doing this. I still don't know to this day why people aren't doing that yet. But by doing that, you will astronomically increase your conversions. If you have the ice cream shop and they can see the inside and all the different flavors there, and the different cones and the price menu and seeing it all on camera, it makes it very unrisky for the person to come in at that point in time, which is what you're going for. The less risky it is for the user, that is risky for their time, wasting their time more than anything there, the more your conversion rate's going to be, the more you're going to make per dollar of ad spend. Okay? So spare no expense on the videography there. Beyond that, that is Google in a nutshell here. I could go into detail on the individual parts here. Bottom line, that's what I do on my other videos on this channel, and you should subscribe to this channel if you're planning on doing this for yourself and or just want to become a millionaire running ads for your business, because it's all laid out here and it's coming from somebody who spends 40 hours a week legitimately doing ad strategy at our firm to know how to do these campaigns the best, and somebody who has to guarantee the results that will get the results for our clients along with it. So, and I had to spend my weekends just sharing during the week what I learned, what works to be able to even physically do this. Nobody else is doing this on this channel that I know of. So that should right there tell you the information you're going to get on this channel about at least PPC results. You're not going to find any other place other than this, anywhere else that you could get information better than what's on this channel. So subscribe already if you haven't already. And furthermore, check out my blog on my site. I have a great blog on my site. You can find that at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog has step-by-step instructions on how to actually get results as well for yourself, the way that we do it to get results for our clients, with screenshots, with everything you need to use them. So if you like the channel, you're going to like that blog as well. If you have any questions about anything I've covered now or gonna cover with the Facebook ads, let me know in the comment section. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or a comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. You can ask me any marketing related question for that matter. I don't care. I'm happy to give back just for helping us grow the channel. So getting back to what I was mentioning here. Now, to get into Facebook ads, frankly though, before I do head there, I'm going to spend as much money as I can through my Google Ads account before I dip into Facebook, because it's easy. It frankly is easy. If you use the formula I mentioned here, results every time. Mainly because your competition's not going to spend the proper time and efforts to set up their ad campaigns the way that I just said here. They're not going to go ahead and target every item that they sell as far as Google search ads are concerned. They're not going to set up unique landing pages for people to go to. They're going to try to send them to your homepage, whatever. And you're going to outcompete all the other people there. Even the national players who are selling leather couches, because you have a better mousetrap than the national players, because people are going to, once they come into your store, they're going to buy at a high rate. And you're going to be able to convince a lot of them to come in. So you have an edge on all the other advertisers, which means you can afford to be at the top of Google and they can't. So, but maybe you could only get to 3, 4, 5 million a year locally at your store using strictly Google ads once you've ramped them up over the next 3 to 5 years. If you want to ramp up quicker or add to that, then Facebook ads is where you're going to be able to get the rest of the way. All you got to do, though, is figure out a hook that's going to work. Given that you can't just be like, we're a brand new ice cream shop, come see us, which that can work if you have something super interesting. That's generally not the way to go, and I'm going to explain why here. So as far as Facebook ads go, generally speaking, we're going to target very broadly on Facebook. So even if you have something niche like a motorcycle gear store, I could target people on Facebook that are interested in motorcycles. That I could do. Why not do that? But that's not the be all end all either, because Facebook they don't have all the data. So what I would recommend to you, if you're going to go this route, do that stuff first if you can, and you have a niche business. People that like ice cream should get your ad for your ice cream shop. Also test basic demographics targeting. So, if people who like ice cream are mainly target middle-aged people, okay? The key, 80% of what gets results on Facebook for a local business like this is going to be the ad creative, and specifically what offer you have to give. And when I say offer, I don't mean, here's a great ice cream shop, come see it. No, it's, what are you going to offer me specifically to get me to give a crap about what you're saying right now? Okay? Because if you don't, people are going to see it. They're going to be like, oh, that's interesting. And they're just not going to do anything. They're going to forget about your ice cream shop. Maybe they won't forget if you keep reminding them once every week forever, and it'll eventually get them to cave. But it's not like Google. Google, you already know they're looking for an ice cream shop. So if you're not there, you're basically, I don't want to say idiot, pretty close to that for not doing that. And the only reason why you wouldn't do it is if you don't know how to set it up efficiently to get it to pay for itself, which the information I gave you, it will every time. Practically, with that said, they're not ready to come in when they see your ad. So you got to make them take action now. Otherwise, they're going to forget about you and you're going to, practically speaking, waste your money. So what I recommend you do is use one of these offers here, are the main ones that work for a brick and mortar store. But you in general should be testing not one, not two, but multiple of these, if not 10 different types of offers, okay? Multiple of each type here, the first of which we use for a local brick and mortar store to get sales via Facebook ads is gonna be using discounts. This is our main go-to if we can do it. So for an ice cream shop, we're gonna give you a free ice cream cone, or we're gonna give you 50% off your coming here for the first time as a new customer, whatever. If you have a lot of lifetime value in terms of what your customer's worth, a free, meal to come in can be worth it, assuming you have a really good, Italian food place, because once they come in, they know about it and they like the Italian food, you got them. So you can afford to do that. You got to think about what the customer's worth, their lifespan, to justify giving something up front. And the more they're worth, the more you can give up front, and the more you give up front, the more people will jump on your ad, of course. So you could do that. You could do a free giveaway. So what I mean by a free giveaway is it's something in addition to, okay? So you're a ice cream shop. You come in for an ice cream cone this month, we'll give you a free, in addition, banana split, assuming you offer that as well. So buy one, get one. For a lot of people tends to be more suited for them, because at least then you got somebody who's willing to part with their money for an ice cream cone. You're getting the type of customer in through the door that you want. People who would actually buy an ice cream cone, and it's just a little incentive to do it. Versus free ice cream cone, that person maybe just comes in to get it because they like free shit. So sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. You also can do a contest or game. So what I mean by this, and this is something nobody's talking about. If I have a local car dealership, let's say, which we've done this before, you're going to have a contest where, you could say, you come in, we have this basketball game set up. If you can make 10 in a row, we'll give you this car here on the lot for half off. And And you could get insurance companies to insure you on that type of thing, by the way, but you could make a contest to get people in through the door, and they have to fill out a form through your ad or clicking through your ad to be able to enter, so that it allows you to track how well your campaign's working. But this will get a ton of people through the door. You can do a contest where we've done had a jar. Back in the day, you used to see this all the time. You have a jar full of keys, and you have to guess how many keys are in the jar. And if you guess, you're going to get your next car that you need for 50% off. And you're still getting a list of people who needs a car, and then you can give that list to the sales team, and then they call, and so on and so forth. But with that said, you can do things that contests, games, whatever, that you can only compete in the store. For years, restaurants have if you could eat all this, it's free. That's an equivalent to what I'm talking about here. You can use that to get people to come in. But when you pair that with, you must fill out this form before you come in to even be eligible, you have good data that you can use to track, ultimately when they eventually come in, that they came in and that they bought something, if they bought something, and then tie everything together. That is, this ad that showed up for this type of person worked. So Facebook, get me more people like this. And then as you run the campaign, it'll get more and more efficient. So it can start out where it's not profitable, but 6 months down the road, where it's running to everybody in the city, practically speaking, it does become profitable. And then once you got it narrowed down, it just runs at maintenance level and just keeps bringing in people regularly. And then you can work on different offers and get because different offers are going to appeal to different people. You can also do free upgrade. So you could say, hey, come into our day spa and we'll give you VIP treatment. If you come in for new customers this month only, fill out this form to be able to take advantage of it. With the idea being that if they don't fill out the form, then they're not going to find the form again. So they do it now, even though that doesn't guarantee they come in. You ultimately initially optimize your campaigns for just people filling out that form, because statistically, if they fill out that form, at least some percentage are going to come in. You just don't know how much. Then you track the people that come in that want to redeem that. You compare that to the people that are on your initial list that requested the offer, and you grab the Facebook click ID, which is ultimately how this all works and ties all the information is tied together. You give that Facebook click ID that you can gather when they initially fill out your form to request that offer, to give it back to Facebook. Facebook knows who that person initially was in their system, and then can now steer your ads in a little bit better direction moving forward. So that's another route you can go. But again, you can run several different types of variants of each offer here. You could do multiple discounts, 20%, 30, 40, 50%. Do several types of giveaways where you're offering a free item in addition to what you're selling. If you're selling even a new car, you could do, we're going to give you the free, if you buy one and after filling out this form, we'll give you a free clear coat ceramic coating on any car that you buy, as well as 4 new tires, ultimately, assuming you're selling used cars. So there's some different routes you can go. And then the contest, I like that personally the most because so few people are doing it. Anything that people aren't willing to do or aren't doing, that really makes your ads stand out on Facebook. And you have to stand out just to make your ads profitable, because every ad that gets seen that people don't care about costs you money. And it just drains your profitability of your ads. So ideally, every person who sees it would at least be like, oh, that's cool, versus, who gives a crap? And then the free upgrades, like I mentioned. So you target pretty much everybody within 15, 30 miles of your place of business, or if it's an ice cream shop, maybe it's only 10 miles, or if it's a dentist office, maybe it's only, in different niches, people are willing to travel different amounts of distances or only willing to go so far. So for a dentist, we know in that space, people are willing to go up to 3 miles, whereas a fertility clinic, people are willing to go up to 60 miles, assuming it's the right place that they want to go to, they're willing to do that. So the radius around your business that you target people will be different based upon what niche you're in. And so what you're ultimately trying to do is just find an offer that's going to stick with resonate with your audience around, with that radius around your business. And what you should find out is if you do 10 different offers, 1 or 2 will work really good. It'll be profitable. Then you take the money from that to come out with 10 more offers. And then you just test 1 or 2 will work. and then you just keep going with it. And also just keeping in mind that with Facebook, even if you find 1 or 2 offers that work, once everybody sees those offers in your market, it's not going to work anymore, ultimately. So you've got to keep coming up with offers. I mean, for that matter, if you show an offer to somebody and then you show it to them 6 months from now, it'll still work pretty good. You just can't hammer it, to the same people over and over and over again. So as you find something that works, all that's doing is buying you time and money to find another offer that works, and you just keep doing that again and again and again. This is also the reason why I usually want to run Google ads, because Google, when you get the ad set up just right, it just prints money and without having to constantly tweak it. Facebook, you have to constantly come up with new ads and new offers, even though this can be explosive for your business, to where if you get this just right, like we had a day spa where we ran a campaign specifically, and compared to the Google ads, I mean, this brought in, the place was packed just by having the Facebook offer set up right for that particular space and right away. Whereas Google takes time to kind of get ratcheted up and start working because your campaigns kind of need seasoned. That worked right away. And we've done that type of thing in the past. We've also had, even chiropractors, physical therapists, where we ran Facebook campaigns and they were able to get basically their, at capacity within 30 days, just because we found that one offer that really resonated. So you can get explosive growth, but also it's a lot to maintain the level of growth that you got, given that people are going to see the offer and then you're going to have to come back and revise it. With that said, like I mentioned before, user must sign up before coming in, and then you do what is known as offline conversion tracking to actually track how many people came in and used the offer that bought to come back to the campaign, so that in the future, when you run different offers, essentially Facebook is going to know who it should get in front of. And then ideally you get a workflow going that every month you have a different offer, and Facebook will use all the data about who bought from your previous offers to run your ad to next time for the next offer in line. So if you're creative and ambitious enough, you can get Facebook going and just constantly run different promotions to get people into your store physically. And a bunch of them won't work very well, or won't even be profitable, but some of them will, and that'll pay for the other 8 losers that you had before, if you will. I told you about the auto dealership where we had the basketball shooting game, like the Hot Shots game, to get people into the store. Worked extremely well. We also had, for the giveaway here, or if you want to call it discount, we offered the free drink coming into a bar before, and we advertised it to people who were in the general downtown area where this bar was. Come in, the first drink is on us for free, which is not a unique offer, by the way. A lot of bars tend to do this, but when you are running it towards people that are already drinking, already in party mode, it actually works extremely well. And we could just run that every Friday and Saturday night itself. The free upgrade, we had a day spa here where we offered the VIP treatment for free. If you filled out this form, worked extremely well itself, to the point where they were at capacity just by having this one offer itself there. It rang a bell with our audience. They want to feel like they're a VIP for this one time. And, because it's only for March, we're doing this one time, and it's VIP, treatment that would normally cost hundreds of dollars. You're going to get it for free. People jumped on it. And so the formula here is knowing what people care about, but also making it seem like it's exclusive and builds urgency. I must do this now or I'm never going to get it. And then on top of that, utilizing what people come in and utilize that offer to steer the campaign moving forward. So that's Facebook in a nutshell here. If you want somebody to come up with a golden offer for you, this is what we do at our firm all the time. We can give you an offer that's going to work. You've got to obviously be okay with delivering on that offer, but we can come up with one that'll be profitable for you almost, for sure, basically. Reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. And we'll hook you up with that. We'll tell you what we can guarantee as far as results as well along with it. We also sell ad templates. If we've already worked in your market, one of the markets I've talked about, if you worked in those markets, we can sell you the winning ads, landing pages, all of it that work for your niche market already. Or if you would like to just ask me one-off questions about markets that we've been in or what to do in your case, you can reach out to me and do an hour of coaching or consulting, and I can tell you every single thing I would do in your market similarly. If you want somebody to really, help you get out ahead of this. So you don't have to do a bunch of testing. You can ask me. I've been running ads for 20 years now, done it for at least 10 different local brick and mortar shops. And we're getting results basically every time from it because this is a proven formula that works, because in a market without sophisticated competition, it is going to crush your competition, because none of your competition is thinking on this level with what they're doing. With all that said as well, by the way, if you want somebody that will just handle all your ads, pay for your ad spend, you can expect this. It's not too good to be true. We actually work with clients and do just that, to where if you want the best results and you're willing to share some of the wealth, if we can get you some results, we'll invest and give you free ad spend to run these ads or ads like it for your market. Also, we'll give you all our agency services for free. All that we would want if we partner with your company is to get a percentage of your revenue growth in the future that we were able to generate. So for instance, if you have the ice cream shop, you're doing $300,000 a year in sales revenue, you want to get to $3 million a year, we'll give you some starting ad spend to get your ads started here. We'll build all your ads. Once your sales start to go up, we'll take between 1 and 10% of your gross revenue increase. And that's all we'll take for our time and money that we put into ad spend to get your ads going. And then of course, we'll say an additional, let's say 5% of your revenue moving forward, we'll go back into additional ad spend and we'll grow your sales starting with that. We've done this with several companies now at this point in time, of which we can give you direct references for, that are making multi-millions a year now because of what we did here for these companies. And if you want to be like them, of course, let me know. I can go over what you have, as long as you've got something that we know is great and will sell very well. We're interested in partnering with you long-term and join forces. Let me know if you're interested in that. With that said, I'll wrap everything up with that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said ad spend was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.